Hey guys, my hair's all wet as you can see, but in this video, I want to talk about why, in my opinion, I think so many people don't vote, don't want to vote, and the reasoning behind that. Now, just right up front, I want to say that, I haven't researched or actually looked into a lot of the things, that people have claimed. So, take what I say with a grain of salt as well. I'm just stating my opinion and trying to think through this logically, okay? So, I think for the most part, a lot of people don't vote simply because they don't see really any reason or point to, because I think the way that they're perceiving or looking at the country is in a very negative way. They see it as really of a no point of return back to what the country should be. Okay, so they don't think that it's going to get better. So if they don't think it's going to get better, why do anything to try to make it better, right? That's kind of how, a lot of people think, I think. Again, this is just all my opinion, but I think that it has some value, and I think that it should be spoken of. Because, in my life and journeys, meeting people and talking with people day to day, it seems that a lot of people have some of these core beliefs that they think about the government and the whole, system, voting system and all that. They think that, it's all Illuminati. They think that the voting system's rigged, so if it's rigged, why vote? Because your vote doesn't matter. They think that the candidates are picked and chosen, and that they're simply puppets, okay? And the president is just a puppet, nothing more, nothing less. It's all just an illusion, it's all just a game to make you think that it's real, okay? The media portrays it as though it's real, that it's legit, that it's, a big thing, and on. When in reality, it's just all entertainment, all just a show, all just an illusion. And that's pretty much what a lot of the, I'd say, beliefs are that determine why somebody doesn't actually go out and vote. My reasoning really has always been that I just never really seen a worthwhile candidate to vote for. Now, as I explained in my last video, I was going to vote for Ron Paul. I felt that his record and what he was saying was, good. I didn't agree with everything that he said, but for the most part, I think he would have been a good, leader, and he would have pointed us in a good direction, much better than what the country is going now. So that's kind of my reasoning. But I wanted to briefly talk about why I think that some of those core beliefs that people have about the country should be looked at and really given some thought and discussion over, because a lot of this information really seems to come from the internet. It comes from people that are fearful, negative, in other words, they're pessimistic, and folks who don't really have any love for the country. And one example is, I recently asked somebody if they were going to vote, who are they going to vote for? And they told me, that they don't vote. And I asked them why, and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, and, I told them, well, it does matter, right now is it's an important time, I believe, in history for us to really, turn this country around and to really get somebody that's a strong leader, knows what they're doing, that can really help the country and get us back to our roots, and follow the Constitution, and uphold the law of the land. So I pretty much, try to explain it this way, and that is, I asked him, what if you had a treasure chest full of treasures and money, okay? Very valuable things in this treasure chest, and you took it everywhere with you. But one day, it started to sink. You were on a ship, and a storm came, and the treasure chest started to sink deep below into the depths of the water. Would that person who loves all of his treasure not try to save the treasure chest from going down deep into the water's depth? Would not that person try to patch up the hole, or, do whatever they could to try to salvage or try to save, their treasure chest? Of course they would, because the desire of the person's heart is obviously in his treasure chest. He loves his treasures in the chest. And so that person that loves whatever it is in life is going to care about that thing that they love. So when anybody says that they don't care about voting, or they don't care about, trying to turn the country around, trying to end corruption, is really saying that that's not where their heart lies. That's not what they really love. Because if they loved it, they would try to do everything that they could to help fix the situation. They would give it their all. They would put their energy into it. Okay, they would try to salvage anything good or whatever they could and preserve whatever they could of it. I hope this makes sense to you guys watching this video, because I think it makes sense. I think it's very clear, and that is that, people care about things that they love, and there's a lot of people that do not care, okay, about America, and that means that a lot of people don't love America. And if you simply don't have the love for something, you're not going to really care much about that thing, or whatever it might be. It's kind of the same way with a belief in God. If you love God, if you love Jesus, then you will do what he says. You will care about living a righteous life. You will care about avoiding sin. You will care about those things. But if you do not love God, if you do not love Jesus, if you do not love the conviction of the Holy Spirit, then you are just going to ignore those things, and you're not going to care about them. In the same manner, it's the same with our country. And I find that the big reason why the country is in the shape that it is largely due not only to the corruption in the government, but it's also due to the people that are running the government. These people do not uphold the law, do not uphold the Constitution, do not uphold those values that are so important. And so many people today have taken for granted their liberties and the rights that they have in this country. So they have no incentive, they have no reason to even fight for them. They've, in a sense, become lazy. This is true. You see it all the time if you actually observe and look. If you talk to people, you will see that the negativity spreads rampant and that people just don't care. Now, a lot of other people will say, well, it's just going to continue to get worse, and we're living in the end times, even though God said no man knows the day nor the hour that Jesus would return. But you have people going around setting dates of when the end is going to happen. Like in 2012, everybody said the end was going to happen, and it didn't happen. So they take things out of context. They're trying to make prophecies, but a lot of the times, because people believe so strongly in a lot of these things, they actually are fulfilling prophecies. If everybody thinks it's the end, a lot of people can actually make that happen to an extent. They can actually, create a worsening of the country because they simply think that, well, there's no point of doing anything, and so they're actually contributing more to the problem. And the problem being that people don't care. People aren't willing to go out and vote. People aren't willing to stand up against the corruption and fight the corruption and try to turn things around. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to end it, but I will make another video. But it's just something to think about, that ask your friends, ask your family members, find out the people that you know. How many people, if you live in America, how many people do you know that actually do care about our country, that actually will go out and vote when voting happens? How many people do care about these things? Or will they say to you, it doesn't matter, my vote doesn't really matter, it's all rigged anyways? So, listen and stay tuned for part 2.